Ishon is an 8-year-old kid with a lot of ideas. Among his friends, he is known as a troublemaker. He gets bad grades in every subject and is the worst student in his class. He is in the 3rd grade for the 2nd time, and his report card shows that he will have to redo the same grade. Johan, Ishon's older brother, is a better student than Ishon. Outside of school, he plays tennis, and in the next interstate tennis tournament, he will be participating. Ishon often gets into fights with the mean kids in his neighborhood. One day, the mother of a boy named Ishon tells his father, Nankishore, how bad he is. He has to say sorry to the kid and his mother in a way that makes him look bad. After they leave, he punishes Ishon by throwing him to the floor. Even though Nankishore loves his kids, he treats Ishon too badly. He thinks that Ishon's bad grades and failure to do simple things are due to his being lazy. Ishon's English teacher asks him to read a line from the book the next day at school. He tries hard, but he can't say much. He has trouble figuring out what the letters mean, but his teachers think he is a brat. When she tells him over and over to read, he yells nonsense and is kicked out of class. Ishon has been punished before, so this is nothing new. In fact, he spends most of his time outside instead of learning because his teachers think he makes it hard for other students to learn. Ishon hadn't done his math work that day. He skips school so he doesn't have to face the math teacher. He spends the whole day walking around the neighborhood. He makes the most of the day by getting ice cream, hanging out by the water, and watching people go by. By the end of the day, he is back on his school bus and no one has noticed that he was gone. We watch him make a beautiful painting at home. Ishon loves to paint, and his creative mind helps him make pieces that are out of this world. Later, his mother Maya tries to teach him and make him do his homework. She sees that his writing is bad and that he can't spell much. She thinks he is lazy because he can't do something, so she scolds him like everyone else. The next day, Ishon will have to give his teacher a note from his parents explaining why he was sick. He asks his brother to write the note for him because he is afraid of getting in trouble. Johan writes the note and makes him promise that he will never miss school again. The kid shows it to his teacher, who doesn't doubt that it's real. He also acts like he has a cough to make it look like he is sick. On that day, the kid's math teacher gives them a test out of the blue. Ishon is given the test paper, but it looks like the letters are dancing to him. In the first question, he is asked to multiply 3 by 9. The kid thinks that Earth, the 3rd planet, and Pluto, the 9th planet, are at war with each other. He imagines that the Earth will destroy Pluto, so he thinks the number is 3. He turns in the test, leaving the rest of the questions blank. When asked by his friends, he says with confidence that he really liked the test. Nankishore comes back from a work trip the next day. Ishon is so happy to see his father again that he gives him a big hug. But when Nankishore is eating breakfast, he finds the fake note from the day before. When he looks into it, he finds out that Ishon ran away from school and was wandering the streets alone. The next day, his parents met with his teachers and the director, who were both upset with how he was acting in class. They also find out the results of the latest math test. The director thinks that Ishon is a unique child who needs to go to a school for kids with special needs. Nankishore can't stand the idea that his son might be sick or hurt. Both parents are afraid for their child's future, so they decide to send him to a boarding school. Ishon doesn't like the idea at all. He doesn't want to go and cries and begs them to keep him at home. His parents don't want to be apart from him either, but they do what they think is best for him. That night, Ishon has a nightmare about being in a crowd and losing his mother. He wakes up crying. When she tries to calm him down, he says he'll study harder if they let him go home. This makes Maya very sad, but Nankishore is set on his choice. The day finally comes when Ishon goes to the rural private school. He will have to live with other kids in a school and can only see his family once a month. It's a nightmare for the 8-year-old boy who has never been away from home. The hostel manager welcomes him by telling him that he can't act the way he used to. The family feels sad as they leave the school after seeing it. Ishon just stands there and cries as their car drives away. Even after he can no longer see the car, he stays like that for a few minutes. As night falls, he walks into the hotel while still crying. He never talks to anyone and doesn't eat much food. When he can't sleep at night, he goes to the bathroom and quietly cries because he misses his mother. Maya gets home and starts looking through Ishon's things. She is shocked to find a flipbook that shows him being taken from his family. When she reads the book, she sees how much the child hates being away from them. This breaks her heart. Ishon has trouble with simple things like tying his tie and shoelaces in the hotel. On his first day of Hindi class, Mr. Tiwari puts him on the first bench with Rajan, who is the best student in the class. The teachers quickly figure out that Ishon isn't like other kids. He doesn't pay much attention in class, so his art teacher hits him. Nothing has changed since he went to the last school. He is always sent outside as a punishment, and he can't take part in the class exercise because he messes it up. Over time, he gets so angry that he rips up his books and throws them away. He stops trying to do better in school and starts to feel bad about himself, which makes him feel worse and worse. When his parents come to see him after a month, he locks himself in a room and cries for the first time since he last saw them. When he is told to do something, he runs outside and does several laps around the basketball court. To give him a break from the hostel, his family takes him to a hotel for the night. Johan gives him a gift basket full of painting materials, but he doesn't know that Ishon has stopped being artistic and painting altogether. The next day, they say goodbye and leave him alone once more. Later that day, Ishon is at his lowest point. He looks down from the school's balcony and wonders what it would be like to jump from that height. His only friend, Rajan, talks to him about their new art teacher and stops him from thinking. Ishon doesn't think it's important because no teacher has ever helped him. But the kids are surprised when their new teacher, Ram, comes to class dressed as a joker. He does things that no other teacher does. He sings a song, plays the flute, makes them dance, and lets them enjoy the class. Even though the old Ishon would have loved all of this, the sad one doesn't do any of it. The kids' first job is to draw or paint anything they want. Ram wants them to show him how clever they are so he can figure out what he needs to work on next. The other kids start drawing things that are all different, but Ishon doesn't even touch the paper. Ram thinks at first that the kid just needs some time to think, but when class is over, Ishon's paper is still blank. Ram asks him what's wrong, but he doesn't tell him. That night, Maya calls Ishon to talk, but he doesn't say anything. He just holds the phone to his ears. He is told that the next visit will have to be put off for a week because Johan has a tennis match. Ishon sees this as proof that no one in his family cares about him. He sheds one tear and walks away without saying anything. Ram sees Ishon kneeling outside the classroom the next day. Because of the way he acts, he asks Rajan about him. Rajan says that no matter how hard Ishon tries, he has trouble understanding letters. Ram works at a school for kids with special needs, so he has a soft spot for kids who are different. To learn more about Ishon, he looks through his old notes and notices that he makes the same mistakes over and over again. Even when he is teaching the special needs kids, he can't stop thinking about Ishon. He had the same problem when he was young, so he can relate to the kid. After a few weeks, he figures out what Ishon's real problem is and goes home to talk to his parents. They let him in and show him where Ishon sleeps. Ram is shocked to learn that Ishon used to be an artist. This makes him feel even worse that the pressure on the kid made him lose his shine. Nankishore makes fun of his son by saying that he is lazy and doesn't like to study. Ram gets back at them and shows them how Ishon keeps making the same mistakes. He often turns the letters around, as if he can't tell them apart. Still, the father thinks it means being lazy, but Ram tells him he is wrong. He says that Ishon has a brain disorder called dyslexia that makes it hard for him to understand patterns like letters and words. No one knew the kid couldn't read, so they thought he was just being lazy. This must have caused him a lot of pain. Nankishore gets angry at Ram because he thinks that Ram is calling his son an idiot. Ram asks him to read foreign letters written on a box to help him understand. When Nankishore gets in trouble for not being able to read the signs, he finally understands what his child must be going through. Still, he won't accept that his son can make a living doing what he loves most, which is drawing. Ram is going to show him that he is wrong. The next day, when he goes back to school, he tells the kids about all the great people in history who weren't so good at school when they were young. Ishon feels a lot better about himself after he tells them about scientists, artists, and thinkers. When Ram asks them who made the light bulb, Ishon talks for the first time in weeks and says, Thomas Edison. Ram sees a tiny bit of hope that the boy might be able to learn. Later that day, Ishan is by the pond when he makes a boat out of rubber bands and leaves. Ram is so amazed by the building that he takes it home with him and keeps it as a decoration. Ishan's artistic juices are starting to flow again, but he still has a long way to go before he can study like other kids his age. Ram goes to talk to the school's director about Ishan's problem one day. The director says they should send him to a school for kids with special needs, but Ram is sure Ishan can learn with the other kids. He wants the teachers to figure out what the kid's problem is and help him in that way. Ram says he can teach Ishan every day after school, but the director says it's not possible. Because it's good for the child, the director lets it happen. From the next day on, Ram comes up with new ways to help Ishan tell the letters of the alphabet apart. They learn with the help of sandboxes, Play-Doh, visual methods, and other things. Ishan also learns math with the help of podcasts and steps. In just 2 months, he starts to understand the letters that other teachers had spent years trying to teach him. One day, Nankishore goes to Ram's school to tell him that he and his wife are doing more study about their son's illness. He wants Ram to know that he is not a deadbeat dad and that he is proud of who he is. Ram, on the other hand, says that the child's lack of trust is because of the father, which even Nankishore can't deny. On his way out, he sees Ishan looking at the notice board and trying to read it. He feels bad that he hurt his child without meaning to, so he cries and can't look at him. A few days later, Ram sets up a drawing contest for the school's teachers and kids. Everyone joins together in the arena. Ishan paints for the first time with the materials that his brother gave him. When the contest starts, everyone starts drawing. Even the teachers have fun and do their best at the event. At the end of it, Ishan paints a beautiful picture of himself sitting by the pond. He goes to the front to hand in the drawing and sees that Ram has made a picture of him. He can't say anything about what he sees. A little while later, they say that the winner's picture will be on the cover of the new yearbook. The director says that it was hard to choose because Ram's and Ishan's drawings stood out the most. In the end, Ishan is named the winner, and Ram gets second place. The crowd cheers loudly. Ishan finally feels like his skills are being noticed for the first time in his life. He can't stop crying, so he runs to his teacher to give him a hug. In the last scene, Maya and Nankishore go to school for the end-of-year talk between parents and teachers. The director shows Ishan's drawing on the cover of the school's yearbook and brags about how talented he is. The parents are shocked because they are not used to all the new attention. The director also says that Ram did a great job teaching the child how he needed to be taught. Later, Ishan's parents meet with his teachers, who show them his report card and say nice things about how much he has grown. Outside, the couple smiles and cries as they watch their son play. Nankishore thanks Ram for helping Ishan and says he's sorry for the way he acted. Ishan finally says goodbye to Ram and takes a break in his hometown. Share your thoughts in the comments, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.